everyone, a very warm welcome to today's session. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fine and amazingly well. Sat Sri Akal, Namaskar, Bonjour, Adab. Let's get started with the last session of our chapter, The Age of Industrialization, where we are going to talk about the strategies that were used to sell the goods during industrial period, which basically means how were they advertising. आज की डेट में हम इतने सारे ads देखते हैं, उस वक्त क्या होता था वो जानेंगे आज के सेशन में. लेट मी क्विकली इंट्रोड्यूस माई सेल्फ. बच्चों, मेरा नाम अंकना है एंड आई एम योर एक्सपर्ट फॉर सोशल साइंसेज एट Imbibe. I actually specialize in social science as well as English, given the background of my studies, which is humanities. And I have been associated with the field of education for more than 9 years now, where I've taught both online and offline. तो मैम के इतने बड़े इंट्रोडक्शन के बाद ये भी बात कर लेते हैं कि चैप्टर का इंट्रोडक्शन क्या होगा. So these are the topics in which the chapter has been divided. Before the Industrial Revolution, hand labor and steam power, industrialization in colonies, the peculiarities of industrial growth in India, establishment of factories in India, and the strategies that were used to sell goods during industrialization. The last one is going to be our topic for today. Okay? Concepts that we're going to cover, basically what were the ads, how were the goods made popular out there in the market that the Britishers or the industrialists back at that time were selling. Okay? Hi Kunal, good evening. Hi Sakshi, hi Soul, very good evening you guys, very warm welcome. Guys, please make sure to let your friends know that we are winding up the age of industrialization in today's session. तो उनको inform करके जल्दी से बुला लो, ठीक है? Now talking about what we did in the previous session, let's have a quick recap. So we were basically talking that how industrialization was evolving in India, what were the basic characteristics of these industries that were in fact springing up and were established in India. So we see that in the late 19th century, industrialization when was happening, despite of the fact that it was basically the Indian industries, but European trading agencies were brought in and they were given all the control over the market. They dominated the entire market and controlled everything. They only established all the commerce chambers. They took the shots, they made the call, they decided कौन सा Indian किस में trade करेगा, क्या करेगा. So they were the agencies who were taking care of everything. Indian mills produced coarse yarn. So Indian mills were doing the production, but these productions they were doing very wisely. What they decided was in order to be in the business, they decided not to do production of something that Britain was already producing or was bringing into India, importing, because that would have given them a direct competition and that would have made the Britishers shut down the factories in India. तो भैया काम ही बंद हो जाएगा तो क्या फायदा, तो थोड़ा कम प्रॉफिट बनाकर काम करते रहो. So what they decided कि fine cotton, fine yarn, fine textile is going to be imported and created by the Britishers. So they will work on the coarse, the rough yarn, they will produce that. Then the Swadeshi movement happens. So right from 1900 onwards, we see a huge difference came in, because Swadeshi movement and the leaders, they continuously spoke about and pushed the people to in fact give up and boycott the foreign goods and have Indian goods. So that naturally increased the demand of the Indian goods and started creating a market for Indian manufacturers within the nation. But the First World War even changed the game further ahead, because First World War की वजह से all the British factories which were earlier manufacturing different products and selling it in India had stopped the production and were only producing the requirements of the war. वॉर के लिए इक्विपमेंट, यूनिफॉर्म जो चाहिए था वो उसको ही सिर्फ प्रोड्यूस करके उसमें सप्लाई कर रहे थे. तो द एंटायर मार्केट वाज ओपन, सो द इंडियन इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट्स कुड इजीली कैप्चर इट. प्लस दे आल्सो गॉट डिमांड्स ऑफ सम वॉर सप्लाईज. They also had an opportunity to grow that and sell it to the Britishers, which means their business, their production grew on another level during the war time. It turned out to be in their favor. It boosted their production and declined the Manchester's production and supply in India. Now, small-scale industries is what we see was primarily dominating the entire setup. There were few large-scale industries, but they were placed only in some places. There were just handful. Majority small-scale industries ही थी. Laborers की भी अगर बात की जाए तो a very small proportion of workers who were working in the factories were in fact employed in the large-scale industries. Mostly कहाँ थे? छोटे-छोटे industries में भरे पड़े थे. ठीक है? ये वाला सेक्शन हमने नहीं किया था, ये आज करेंगे और बात करेंगे एड्स कैसे की जाती थी उस वक्त, कैसे लोगों को कन्विंस किया जाता था कि यार हमारा सामान खरीदो, ये साबुन, ये ऑयल, ये अगरबत्ती और ये शर्ट, ये अच्छा है. These days we have such creative ads, and there's so many mediums, right? There's social media influencers, you have TV, you have radio, you have newspapers, you have billboards. Back at that time, these things did not exist. And the culture of शॉपिंग, ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग, ये इस तरीके से नहीं था, मॉल्स नहीं थे. तब लोग कैसे शॉप करते थे, कैसे कंज्यूमर्स को जो है पटाया जाता था इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट के द्वारा. दैट इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, दैट व्हाट वाज द हुक दे यूज्ड टू गेट द कंज्यूमर्स हुक्ड विद and get them to the shops and make them buy the products. Hi Kanika, good evening. Hi Mamta Bache, hi Siddharth, good evening, welcome to the session. So British manufacturers tried to dominate the Indian market, and when introducing new products, the challenge of convincing the people to buy them was a big one, especially back at that time when people were not really familiar with consumerism. कि भैया ये खरीदना है, वो खरीदना है, ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं था. Creating a sense of desire and utility for the products was a very, very crucial part in the process. Why would I buy something? Either I feel that I need it, या तो मुझे सामने वाले को महसूस कराना होगा कि भैया तुम्हें जरूरत है, तुम्हारे पास अब तक था नहीं है, या फिर मुझे बहुत क्यूरियस और बहुत डिजायर, बहुत अट्रैक्ट, टेम्प्ट कर लेना होगा उन्हें कि मुझे लगे कि यार मुझे तो ये चाहिए, मुझे लालच आ रहा है इस पे, ठीक है, आई एम फीलिंग वेरी ग्रीडी, आई नीड इट, आई वांट इट. Either of these two scenarios have to be created in order to get somebody to buy what you're trying to sell, है ना. अगर मुझे जो है मेरे फोन से काम चल रहा है, मुझे तुम या तो बता दो कि भैया मैम द फोन दैट यू आर यूजिंग, यू आर मिसिंग आउट ऑन कैमरा, दिस दैट इज व्हाई यू नीड अ न्यू फोन, सो आई फील ओ आई नीड अ न्यू फोन. या तो फिर तुमने इतना कोई तगड़ा प्रोडक्ट बना दिया, यू हैव सो मच ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजीज दैट डिस्पाइट ऑफ द फैक्ट दैट आई हैव एन एक्सपेंसिव ऑलमोस्ट न्यू नॉट वेरी ओल्ड फोन, I am so tempted by this new product that you have that I want to buy it. But these days it's very easy to do that, right? We have so many visuals and videos and all of these things that can make us experience. Back at that time it was very difficult. उस वक्त लोगों को कैसे बताया जाता था, वो डिजायर कैसे जगाई जाती थी, वो नीड कैसे बताई जाती थी, ये जानना है हमें. कैसे लोगों को लगता था कि yes I would want to buy this product, I like this product, I need this product. Let's find that out. Sounds quite interesting, right? But before that we'll find how the life of the weavers and the craftsperson were in the early 20th century. So, बच्चे, weavers' ability to survive competition with the mill industry is varied. We have seen, right? They had also started making small variations, small innovations in order to keep up in the market. Market में बने रहने के लिए, right? Hi Kanisha, good evening. How are you, Kanisha? I thought you have already joined the session. तो मैंने कनिका को गलती से कनिशा भी बोल दिया था. आप वहाँ पे क्यों हो? यहाँ पे भी आ जाओ. Hi Krishna Veni, Antara. Hi Mamta. Antara. Thank you so much. Okay, now talking about weavers' ability to survive the competition. तो जैसे मैं आपको बता रही थी, every individual was trying to figure out कि भैया टेक्नोलॉजी आ गई है ना, इससे कैसे कोप करें, इससे कैसे, how to manage with it, how to stay on par with it. All of that they were trying to figure out. And everyone had a different approach. सबने ऐसा नहीं किया कि अच्छा ठीक है ब्रिटिशर्स आ रहे हैं, हम ये एक सिंपल मेथड हम सब अप्लाई करेंगे. Everyone had their own takes, everyone had their own methods, everyone was trying something new of their own. Some produced coarse clothes while others woven finer varieties. तो कुछ लोगों ने क्या किया, कुछ लोगों ने सोचा कि हम ब्रिटिश के कंपटीशन में आएंगे ही नहीं. Whatever they are producing will produce an alternative to that. They will not produce exactly an alternative to that, will produce something that they have not put their hands in. वो फाइनर टेक्सटाइल कॉटन क्लॉथ दे रहे हैं, ठीक है, फाइनर मटेरियल दे रहे हैं, हम कोर्स वाला दे देते हैं. लोगों को ऐसा भी तो चाहिए होगा, रफ चाहिए होगा, थोड़ा सस्ता चाहिए होगा, सम चीपर क्वालिटी फॉर अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु कैन नॉट अफोर्ड द फाइन क्लोथिंग. तो उनके लिए हम ये प्रोड्यूस कर देते हैं, ब्रिटिशर्स को कंपटीशन भी नहीं होगा. Some of them thought that whatever they are producing will produce the same thing but of a much better, much finer quality, slightly varied. But ऐसा होता है ना कि somebody is selling product A and somebody is selling product B. These two products are very similar, but they have their own nuances, they have their own characteristics, their own essence, and they're both beautiful. तो कुछ ने सोचा कि ठीक है आप फाइन टेक्सटाइल दे रहे हो, मैं फाइनर टेक्सटाइल I'll give a better quality of what you're doing. I'll give you a good tagda competition. I'll give such an alternative that nobody will look at you. So coarse clothes were primarily bought by the poor because it was of course cheaper. Okay? But of course the demand fluctuated. It's not like it was always in demand whenever people could afford it, because also poor people did not have a constant source of income, and poor people back at that time were mostly the workers, the peasants. तो यार उनकी हालत हमेशा सेम नहीं रहती थी. हमें पता है कि their economic struggle has been huge, right? So it would vary based on if they had the money, if they had to all of a sudden pay a lot of taxes, and there was a lot of variation and fluctuation in that demand. ठीक है. Hi Nirali, good evening, welcome to the session. Then during times of bad harvests and famines, as I told you, cash income nahi hota tha, so poor could not afford clothes. So that time they would not buy it. But the times that their cash flow was fine, they were able to pay the revenues, it was not too harsh, they would go ahead, buy clothes. ठीक है. Finer clothes bought by the well-to-do had a more stable demand. तो ऐसा था कि finer clothes जो है, fine क्यों है? Because it's soft, it's a better quality. And hence it will be expensive, है ना? प्रखर, आप जब कुछ खरीदने जाते हो, hi प्रखर, good evening, welcome. Whenever you go to buy something, what will cost you more? जिसका quality is better. Clothes के terms में we will see the cloth which is rough and not very good, makes you feel a little hot or cold. वो सस्ता मिल जाएगा. The better the quality, the expensive, more the higher the price, right? तो price higher है, so naturally people who are more stable economically, which means the well-to-do people who have a proper source of income, people who are rich, they will be buying clothes like the finer clothes, the finer variety, very good cotton, the muslin, the linen. ये महंगा आता है, खादी, ये सब अच्छे घर के लोग जो ज़्यादा पैसा कमाते थे, अच्छे घर in the sense people who had a stable income, ठीक है, who were not dependent on season to season and various things, they would buy these. Now, because these people are not dependent on season to season, they have a constant source of income, they will always have the ability to buy clothes. So, इनका demand चाहे कम ही क्यों ना हो, it doesn't matter whether the demand is more or less, ज़्यादा सामान चाहिए, कम सामान चाहिए, जैसा भी demand है वो constantly बना रहेगा. They will always be able to buy the things when there is a good option. It wouldn't be based on what my background or what my reality is this year, this month, that will I be able to afford a cloth or not, unlike the poor people. तो ये हमेशा पूरे टाइम सामान जो है खरीदते रहते थे, even when rural people were struggling. So that would affect the production and the sale also, right? The coarse material people will struggle, they would not earn a lot, whereas the finer material people will be able to sell more because their buyers are always there throughout the year. ठीक है. Mills couldn't imitate specialized weaving or unique products like saris with a woven borders, lungis and handkerchiefs from Madras. ठीक है. तो mills में मतलब basically point ये है कि हर का अपना specialization था. While they were trying to create like a finer material or all of these things, it was not possible to imitate everything that was happening in some place, because some place handicraft was happening, very intrinsic work, very detailed work. अब वो आप कहीं मशीन से कुछ प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हो, हर एक चीज़ हर जगह इमिटेट नहीं की जा सकती थी. एवरीथिंग वाज नॉट पॉसिबल टू बी प्रोड्यूस्ड एंड रेप्लिकेटेड, डुप्लीकेटेड इन डिफरेंट प्लेसेस. ठीक है. तो नहीं, मिल्स क्या है, बड़े बड़े प्रोडक्शन हाउसेस है, वेयर मशीन इज हैपनिंग. So they were not able to produce unique products like sari which had very beautiful borders. Why? Because Madras में जो काम चल रहा है हैंड वाला, हैंड वोवन, ठीक है, हैंडलूम का काम है, तो हाथ की बारीकियों से काम हुआ है. That is why we say that elite people would always want the handmade things, because mills में the machine will not be able to replicate that, the machine will not be able to produce that. बाकी जगहों पे वो प्रोड्यूस हो जाता था, तो मिल्स वो चीज़ वैसे भी प्रोड्यूस नहीं कर पाती थी. Weavers and craftspersons worked tirelessly, living difficult lives with long working hours. So because they had to survive, and they were not competing against, humans in a way. They were competing against the machines, machine-made goods. अब मशीन के सामने अगर आपको टिकना है, तो आपको मशीन की तरह काम करना होगा. You'll have to work like a machine. You have to keep going on and on and on. As a result of which, बहुत थके हारे लंबे working hours होते थे, but the result would not be the same, because handmade things, less technology made things will take more time to be produced than what was being produced at a faster pace with the help of the machines. मशीनों की मदद से जो निकल के आ रहा था वो ज़्यादा फास्ट हो रहा था, राइट? और वो हाथ से या छोटे टेक्नोलॉजी से जब प्रोड्यूस किया जा रहा था वो इतना फास्ट नहीं था, वो टाइम लेता था, और इसीलिए उसको कंपटीशन देने के लिए, टिक पाने के लिए उसके सामने दे हैड टू वर्क लॉन्गर आवर्स, बिना थके बिना हारे, राइट? Hi Ranveer, hi Jitendra, good evening. Okay, entire household including the women and the children often had to contribute. अब अकेला बंदा कितना काम करेगा? And they did not have so much money that they could hire workers. अकेले काम करना मुश्किल है, वर्कर्स को हायर करने के लिए पैसे देने होंगे, तो ज़्यादातर पूरा परिवार, entire family would get into the process of production. Weavers and craftspersons were not remnants of the past. Their life and labor were integral to the process of industrialization. ठीक है, तो अब वो जी जान से क्या कर रहे हैं? प्रोडक्शन कर रहे हैं. Let's quickly answer this question. In the early 20th century, the demand for coarse clothes remained stable, while the demand for the fine cloths was unpredictable and fluctuating. बच्चों ध्यान से पढ़ो, it might confuse you, but the statement may be true and false. Elements are same, उसको ध्यान से पढ़ना है. Come on, you guys. Hi, Adi, for you. Thank you so much. Amartya, Govind and Srivalli have answered absolutely correct and perfect timing. Good job. Prakhar ने भी सही जवाब दिया है. Kunal Nirali has taken an attempt. Sakshi has also taken an attempt. Wonderful. Karan and Grises, class 10th. I am waiting for you to answer. Kanika ने भी attempt ले लिया है. Okay. If बच्चे hand woven had a better quality, but hand wovens were also expensive. Hand woven takes a longer period of time to be created. See, creating something with the help of a machine is faster, and you can kind of match the quality because the quality of cloth can be similar. The work may not be similar. Hand worked clothes are more detailed and they are more beautiful. Few people like that, but they're also expensive. Why is it expensive? The amount of labor that goes into creating that cloth is very long number of hours, and hence will make it more expensive. One product will be expensive than two products that has been made by machine. ठीक है, दो मशीन के बने सामान को और एक हैंड वोवन चीज को उठाओगे तो ये ज्यादा महंगा आएगा, मशीन वाला सस्ता आएगा. So majority people would buy things which were cheaper, right? Rich people were very less and they wouldn't always want all the hand woven things, handmade things all the time. You would be sold, you would not be sold. So their speed was less, they did not have a lot of buyers, whereas machine was their competition. That is why they had to struggle more. Okay, Prakhar, I hope I answered your question. So bache, this statement is basically false. This statement false hai. It was the other way around. Coarse clothes was basically fluctuating because poor people were the buyers and it would be depending upon their harvest, their background at that particular point in year, whether they'll be able to afford the clothes or not. Whereas the finer clothes had the well-to-do buyers who had a stable income and could buy it any time, and the demand was also stable. ठीक है, अब बात करते हैं कि कैसे ads किए जाते थे. How were people selling it? Naturally, British manufacturers tried to capture the Indian market. They did not want the Indians to produce in the first place. उनको चाहिए नहीं था कि Indians कुछ produce करें. करने लग भी गए, पहले तो करने नहीं दिया. जब करने लग भी गए, उन्होंने क्या किया? They tried to sell, advertise as much, highlight their products. Now see, a lot of people would want to buy Indian goods. So their problem was also to make their goods look like such that people would choose theirs or confuse theirs with Indian goods and buy it instead of the Indian manufactured goods. So Indian weavers, craftsmen, traders, they resisted colonial controls and demanded tariff protection. They said that when we are producing, we don't want to give you taxes. We want to earn money. We don't want you controlling everything in our lives. Spare us, right? They created their own spaces and extended the market to their products. They started selling to the people. Because their products were already relevant for Indians. They knew what Indians really needed, how to sell it. It would be easier for them to sell. मुझे मेरी डेमोग्राफी, मेरा एरिया पता है. मेरे को पता है यहाँ पे कैसे जो है बिजनेस बनाना है, कैसे सामान बेचना है. whereas somebody who has come from outside is not very familiar with the people, what will really appeal to them. They will have to work hard, especially if their competition is me. अगर वो मुझे अपना competition समझ रहे हैं या मतलब है ही, ठीक है, वही वहाँ पे भी प्रॉब्लम थी, ब्रिटिशर्स का competition इंडियंस थे. The challenge was to persuade people to buy new products and make them desirable. As I told you, consumerism production was not there earlier. पहले लोग अपनी necessity का सामान लेते थे. People only used to buy what was important for them. But with factories coming in, with mass production happening, there were a lot of things being created and in great numbers, which was not really necessity. A lot of times it was luxury, anything. ठीक है, तो कई बार जो है पहले लोग ज़रूरत का सामान लेते थे. 4 बर्तन चाहिए, 4 यूटेंसिल्स आर रिक्वायर्ड, 2 शर्ट्स, 2 पैंट्स आर रिक्वायर्ड, 2 क्लोथ्स आर रिक्वायर्ड. जो रिक्वायरमेंट नेसेसिटी है वो खरीदते थे लोग. बट विद द इंडस्ट्रीज कमिंग इन, मल्टीपल थिंग्स वो बीइंग प्रोड्यूस्ड, वेरिएशंस वो बीइंग प्रोड्यूस्ड, एंड दैट टू इन मासेस. बड़े बड़े अमाउंट में तरह तरह की चीज़ों को प्रोड्यूस किया जा रहा था. सो नेचुरली व्हाट वाज गोइंग टू हैपन नाउ, you also had to sell, right? Mass production cannot be successful unless mass consumption is happening. आप दुनिया भर का सामान खरीद ले रहे हो, बना दे रहे हो, बट कोई खरीदने वाला नहीं है, तो फायदा क्या है? तो आपको लोगों को पटाना भी पड़ेगा कि भैया तुम्हारी जरूरत तो ठीक है, बट यू नीड दिस ऑल्सो. यू शुड बी गेटिंग ग्रीडी बाय लुकिंग एट दिस प्रोडक्ट, गेट टेम्प्टेड, बाय इट, वांट इट. तो हाउ डू यू क्रिएट दैट वांट? लोगों के अंदर वो चाहत जगाना, वो वांट जगाना कि ये सामान ये बहुत अच्छा है, ये बहुत जरूरी था, राइट? एंड दिस वाज गोइंग टू बी मोर चैलेंजिंग. ओके, 20th century के बारे में दोबारा बताना. 20th century में बच्चे, we basically have seen that the weavers were changing and coming into competition with Britishers. ठीक है, लोग अलग अलग तरह के प्रोडक्शंस कर रहे थे. आदि for you, they were making coarse products which was primarily sold to the poor people, had a fluctuating market. They were also making people making finer products which was bought by well-to-do people, जो constant चल रहा था. And hand woven was always a struggle, but that could have not been imitated by machines in the mills. And Madras वगैरह में जो काम होता था वो mills में नहीं मिलता था, and that is how they were just getting through the colonial rule. In short यही है, ठीक है? Okay, ममता आपको भी समझ आ गया? Now the challenge was again to convince the people. लोगों को कैसे मनाएं कि आपको सामान चाहिए? Advertisement was going to be the key. Sell it so much, make it visible so much, make it appealing so much that people end up buying it. इतना बेचो, इतना attractive दिखाओ कि भाई बंदा खरीद ही ले, ठीक है? So it was going to be very important, and this is how new consumers were being shaped up in their minds and and getting a feeling of creating the needs. ठीक है, तो आप क्या है, आप एड्स लगाओगे, लोगों को लगेगा अरे ये क्या सही चीज़ है, मुझे भी ये चाहिए, this looks so tempting, this looks so interesting, I want it. So advertisements were going to be the key. I think I've given the answer to this quiz question. What played a very significant role in creating new consumers by shaping their minds and creating their needs? Advertisements, wars, or rallies? Amartya Karan Nirali, absolutely correct answer, perfect timing. Govind Prakhar, Sakshi Srivalli have also answered correctly, good job. Mamta, rallies नहीं होंगे बच्चे. And कनिका ने अटेम्प्ट लिया है, कुणाल ने अटेम्प्ट लिया है, ममता ने अटेम्प्ट लिया है. एडवर्टीजमेंट्स, किसी भी सामान को बेचने के लिए क्या जरूरी है? ऐड करना, तभी तो लोग टेम्प्ट होते हैं, उसको खरीदते हैं, बेचते हैं. So even today we know how important advertisements are, and now we have multiple ways. जैसे मैंने बोला, social media है, television है, radio है, multiple platforms we have to do the ads. But in the industrial age back then, it was not there so much. Since the industrial age, advertisements have expanded product markets and shaped the consumer culture. For example, I'll give you a very, very simple example. You might have seen a lot of videos these days which tells you how important the dairy products look in our lives. It is not really as such. We are made to believe that if we do not have milk, we will be very, very weak. Our bones will be weak. है ना? क्यों? Because we have seen so many ads of milk producing companies selling their milk that we have started believing कि अरे अगर हम दूध नहीं पीते हैं तो हमारी हड्डियाँ strong नहीं होती हैं, हमारी growth proper नहीं होती है. So ads have a very, very huge impact. For example, we have cornflakes and those sweet, crunchy things in the morning, which is manufactured with the help of sugar, has preservatives, and that has been considered. I, for a very long period of time, used to think that milk and cornflakes, Kellogg's, not Kellogg's, what do you say? Anything which is sugary, क्या बोलते हैं यार उसको, fruit loops and all of that is there that you put in the milk and that you have that has a very crunchy taste. We were made to believe that, oh, it's very nice, it's a very healthy breakfast. Even I used to believe it for the longest period of time. But I'm not saying it's unhealthy or anything, but it's definitely not the healthiest thing that you can have. It has sugar, you're consuming milk, milk is not as important. But how did we form the perception that it is the perfect breakfast first of all, and that it is the healthiest? We didn't form it. For ages we have been shown ads which has made us believe कि हाँ भैया ये जो हम देख रहे हैं, we are convinced, we are sold, this is the perfect thing. That is the role that advertisement plays. And ever since industrialization has started, you guys, जब से industries set हुए हैं, तब से हम देख रहे हैं कि ऐसे ads वो run कर रहे हैं, and over a period of time देखते देखते people are being sold. They have started thinking in terms of what has been shown to them through the advertisements. Ads के through हमको जो दिखाया गया है, हम वही मानने लग गए, वही believe करने लग गए, और वैसे ही अपनी ज़रूरतों को डिफाइन करने लग गए कि मुझे सुबह में जो है वो कॉर्न वाले फ्लेक्स मीठे वाले खाने हैं दूध में डाल करके, वो हेल्दी है. वी डोंट रियली नो इफ इट्स हेल्दी और नॉट, राइट? So Manchester industrialists labeled their clothes. So now the point is, first the idea was to create the need. Okay. But let's say for things there was already a need, where the need was already there. How were they trying to sell it to the people by saying कि मेरे कंपनी की का सामान लो? For example, if you need a shirt तो सबको चाहिए, कपड़े सबको चाहिए, clothes everyone requires. How do you convince them that 3-4 companies are producing cloth? Which one should you buy? कौन सा वाला खरीदना चाहिए? उसकी requirement कैसे generate करेंगे? तो मैनचेस्टर के जो इंडस्ट्रीज थे, they started labeling their cloth bundles to make the place of manufacture and company name familiar to the buyers. Even today's date, आज की तारीख में भी हम देखते हैं ना, made in India, made in Bangladesh, made in Vietnam, made in China. So a lot of times when you pick the cloth and see made in China, you wouldn't want to buy it. You probably will not trust the production. You probably will not trust the quality if you look at the origin of the country where it has been created. तो जब आप लेबल लगाने लग जाओ मेड इन मैनचेस्टर, इट माइट मेक देम फील कि अच्छा ये मैनचेस्टर में बना है, दिस हैज बीन क्रिएटेड इन मैनचेस्टर, ये शायद अच्छा होगा, ज़्यादा बेटर क्वालिटी, बेटर टेक्नोलॉजी है ना, वो फिनेस होगा उसमें. Labels were also marked for of quality, instilling confidence in buyers. So what were they doing? First of all, made in Manchester लिखने लग गए, so that it doesn't matter what company it is coming from. The moment you see made in Manchester, you feel, acha, I'm wearing something made in the foreign, the quality would be better, it's made from machines, it will be better than what other options are there. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Why did Manchester industrialists start putting labels on cloth bundles when selling in India? क्यों कर रहे थे? What was their purpose? To increase the price, to make the place of manufacture and company name familiar to buyers, to use as a fashion statement, or to hide the quality of products. What was their purpose of adding the label made in Manchester? ठीक है? Hi Venu Madhav, absolutely sure. I am speaking everything in English, बच्चे. Every time you hear Hindi, you can ignore those parts, because both are translations of the same concept in both languages, so that both Hindi and English speakers are comfortable with the session. So whatever I'm saying in English, you focus on that. You will not miss on any detail. Okay. Mamta, we've already finished the first chapter of history. You can go back and watch the sessions. You'll find it on the Embibe app also, the recordings on YouTube also, everywhere you'll be able to find it. Okay. Hanji, let's see who has answered. Amartya, Shrivali, Kanika, good job. Correct answer, perfect timing. Kunal and Venu have also answered correctly. Prakar has taken an attempt. It was to make them believe, right? Because when you know kahan manufacture hua hai, where the goods have been manufactured, what are the places, it builds a certain sense of trust. a certain sense of reliability. थोड़ा भरोसा आ जाता है हमारे पास, ठीक है? So they were doing it with the purpose of selling it in India and make them believe that it has been made in the foreign and the quality is better and to establish the trust. What other methods were being used? और क्या किया जा रहा था? Another method was to include beautifully illustrated images often featuring Indian gods and goddesses of divine approval. Now see, very interestingly, we still do this. Instead of god and goddesses, what we have started now doing is using actors and actresses. See, god and goddesses would kind of appeal to your religious belief, which a lot of people used to be more inclined towards back at that time. पहले जो है लोग ज़्यादा पूजा, ज़्यादा religious भावना में रहते थे. These days with modernization, that strong feeling of religious appeal, that when I just look at the picture of the god or goddess, I'm ready to buy that. It's my way of showing my devotion, has changed. अब ये टेक थोड़ा चेंज हो गया है. लोग ये मानने लगे हैं आप विश्वास करते हो, मन में रखो, वो हर चीज में दिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है. इट्स नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट टू शो इट एवरीवेयर. यू हैव इट इनसाइड, दैट इज गुड इनफ फॉर यू. So slight change with education, modernization in the past 100 years has come, right? Now what do we see? We are more impacted and influenced by other influencers, other celebrity personalities that we see. Cricketers, film actor, actresses, some business people, people who have created something for themselves. We tend to believe if somebody is successful and they are using it for ourselves is a good thing, right? It gives a sense of validation. Or you look up to them, you're their fans, you're their followers. So if they are using it or they are asking you to use it, it makes more sense. So that is how ads have shifted now. But back at that time, there were no movies, no songs. ये सब नहीं होता था, गाने वाने नहीं बनते थे, पिक्चरें नहीं बनती थी. So they would put pictures of god and goddesses so that when you look at it, you feel, acha. It would give you a sense of, it would create a sense of purity, a sense of good quality in your head if you would see the god or goddesses picture over there, right? So images of god and goddesses on foreign products made it appear somewhat familiar to Indians, gave a sense of purity. So that was another way. How smart, right? They were appealing to the religious feelings and emotions. Manufacturers printed calendars to popularize their products, which were accessible to those who couldn't read. So if you're not able to read, you'll find a picture of the the logo of the company. Even if you're not able to read, you keep looking at the logo and you're like, this company I know, this sign, this symbol I know. And the moment when you keep looking at it, calendar is something. Why calendars were they manufacturing? क्यों calendars बना रहे थे? Calendar is something you look throughout the year at it, right? At one point or the other, it will leave an impact in your mind. पूरे टाइम आप कैलेंडर देख रहे हो, पूरे साल कैलेंडर देख रहे हो, कभी ना कभी तो एक इम्प्रेशन छोड़ करके जाएगा. So that was the idea. It was prominently featured with images of gods to sell new products. You're looking at the calendar, you're looking at the symbol, your logo of the company, and at one point you get convinced. One point you are just sold. Okay. So the next question is, images of gods made foreign products appear fashionable. Is this true or is this false? Gods and goddesses picture would make the product appeal fashionable, modernize. True or false? Student and Kanika have answered absolutely correct. Good and perfect timing. Good job, Venu. Okay. Govind, Karan, Prakash, Shrivalli have also answered correctly. Venu has taken an attempt and has realized what is correct. Nirali Surendra has also taken an attempt. Wonderful. Govind, Karan, Prakash, Shrivalli and student and Kanika. Okay, great. Or Amartya also. It is false, you guys. It did not make it look fashionable. It just made it look more relatable. Even it is coming from Britain, it has some Indian mark on it, right? So it would make it more relatable. Then, apart from that, as I was telling you, Back at that time, actors and actresses were not there. But who were there? The kings, the queens, the nawabs, the princes, the prince. And these were the people that the people would look in awe up to. They were impressed by them. ये वो लोग थे जिनकी तरफ लोग देखते थे एक certain desire के साथ कि यार मैं शायद राजा होता. What if I would have been the king, the prince? You would want to live their life. You would feel inspired by them. You would want to follow them. You would have that sense of, you know, them being a great, them having a great stature in front of you. आपको बहुत महान लगते थे, मतलब लोगों को बहुत महान लगते थे कि राजा है, वो है. And if they said anything, you would actually feel. Earlier, people genuinely used to feel if somebody is saying, I'm using this and that is why you should use this, they were really using it. That's how advertisements worked, right? When we see Shah Rukh Khan saying that he is driving this Hyundai car, which is marvelous, a lot of people might actually be believing that he's really driving that car that he's showing in that in that ad, which is just that he's saying that he believes that it's a good car. So for that reason, a lot of people will buy it. तो यही हो रहा था कि उस टाइम पे जो उस टाइम के हीरो हीरोइंस थे, द हीरो एंड हीरोइंस ऑफ दैट टाइम, द किंग्स, द क्वींस, all of them were also used a lot of times. Their pictures were put, which would, you know, kind of make people feel, oh, this is the product that the royalty uses, the monarchs use, the king use, so I should also use it, right? And that would make them feel, oh, I want to buy it. Nationalistic messages were conveyed in Indian manufacturers' advertisements, urging consumers to support Swadeshi products. All of this was majorly done. Nawabs ko use karna, and then putting pictures of gods and goddesses. This was more of putting the labels of Manchester, more of the approach of Britishers. Indian manufacturers would just say, believe in Swadeshi movement, boycott foreign goods. बाहर का नहीं इस्तेमाल करना है, मेक इन इंडिया, ठीक है, बिलीव इन मेक इन इंडिया, इंडिया का बना सामान इस्तेमाल करो, बाहर की चीज़ों को छोड़ो. So they would have nationalist quotes that we have to get the freedom, all of these things. So if you're going to buy, even if you're liking something else, the nationalist movement in you would make you feel that I should buy the Indian good. So that is what they were using to sell their products. Now advertisements definitely served as vehicles for promoting the nationalist message. It was a very, very important thing. The age of industrialization brought technological changes and the factory growth, but hand technology and small scale production remained still significant. So advertisements definitely help people to convince the consumer that they need the product, make them feel tempted by them. However, if we have to conclude, industrialization happened, machines aayi, machines were brought in, but still the hand or the manual labor was not completely replaced, usko puri tarike se hataya nahi gaya, it still pretty much existed. Okay? So let's quickly summarize what we have done, and with this, guys, we have also finished the chapter. Okay. Hi, Sakshi Gupta. British manufacturers tried to dominate the Indian market. They tried everything in their capacity to be able to do that. Advertisements played a very, very important role in making of new products seem appealing, because as the production was happening, consumers also had to be prepared to buy the products. Before this, consumers were only buying what was necessary for them, because mass production with a lot of variations was not existing earlier. Images of Indian gods and emperors were used to gain trust. All of this was done by the Britishers to gain trust, to make it feel relatable. Labels of where it was manufactured was put to gain trust. Indian manufacturers used the nationalist messages to make their products sell. Hand technology and small scale production, despite of the industrializations, remained important, not just in India, but in fact in London and other places also in some capacity. Now guys, with this, we have finished the chapter. So you have to go on the app, set your goal, app pe jao, website pe jao, wherever is comfortable for you. And when you set your goal, which is 10th CBSE, you have to come on home. Home pay, you have to go under Imbibe live classes. And see, this is the class that we're doing right now. Okay, this is the session that we're having right now. Just simply go ahead and register yourself. I mean, not for this session. This session is over now. But see, when you scroll down, you'll be able to see all the other classes that is upcoming. Okay? Baaki aur bhi jo classes aa rahi hai, you will be able to see it listed over here. So please make sure that you get yourself registered for all the upcoming classes of all your teachers. For example, tomorrow I'm taking 10th November 8 PM, most important questions from history. So just be prepared, get yourself registered so that you do not miss out on these sessions. It's very important. Check out the Embibe Blends app for sure. It is really amazing, absolutely free. Just download it and you will be able to see how fun learning becomes. Okay? Telegram group Amata is primarily for us to be able to communicate important urgent announcements whenever required, any important updates if there is, if we are making any changes in the class timings, for example. It's one place where the teachers can directly come in touch with you whenever needed. So if you're here, for us to come and inform you becomes very easy. Okay? This is the link and this is the QR code. Just make sure that you're a part of it. I think I've also explained why do you need to be there. With that, my dear lovely students, I'll wind up the session. Happy Dhanteras to all of you for tomorrow in advance. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And just remember, please do not buy crackers for Diwali. Let's have a safe, pollution-free Diwali. Let's probably also light less diyas and maybe plant trees, more of it. And we are looking at the news that how bad the air quality index is happening. So let's kind of neutralize that by planting more trees and not polluting the air, not creating sound pollution, right? Amata, it's more of a one-way thing, like we can post and you cannot, but if we do post something, you can comment on it, okay? So maybe you can ask your question there. So with this, guys, I'm going to wind up the session. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you guys soon. Students on the YouTube channel, please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and tell me in the comment section how did you like this session or if you have any doubts. And for the rest of you, I will see you guys in the registered session tomorrow. Most important questions of history. We are going to have some multiple choice quiz session. It's going to be super quick, super fun, super engaging, super energetic session. So see you there. Till the next time, guys. Till tomorrow, 8 p.m. Take good care of yourself, your loved ones. Hasta la vista, bye-bye, ciao. Have a great evening. Good night. Stay tuned and keep imbibing.
Keep imbibing. We believe in you.